Good afternoon, gentlemen, gents, ladies, whoever's out there, you YouTubers. Of all the days to start a YouTube channel, I had to pick today. Man, I made my little introduction video earlier today. Then I went to work on the sawmill, started cutting some lumber to make some raised beds for the greenhouse. I take a break for lunch and I see some news that the Iranians are bombing Israel like you would not believe. Like they're bombing them back into the Stone Age right now. hundreds of missiles coming out of Iran into Israel. And then right after that, I hear that the dock workers around the United States are going on strike. That may not sound like a big deal. That may sound like, well, you know, they probably need to go on strike because they need to earn a higher wage, and I don't deny that. But the second and third order implications of that are scary if you think about it, because we've already got a weakened supply chain, right? We've got this weakened supply chain, and that is exasperated by the ridiculous cost of groceries and everything else that it takes just to survive today, you know? I'm not talking about the extras. I'm not talking about the $100,000 pickup trucks, you know, if you wanted a new vehicle. I'm talking about the $200 worth of a handful of groceries that you get at Publix or Walmart or wherever you shop, you know. You break another link in that supply chain, and it's just going to get worse. You start World War III in the Middle East, which some would argue we've already been in. You know, we've been in World War III for the last year or more. You know, we've been funding that war with Russia and Ukraine for how many years now? I don't even know. What, 3 years, I guess? Has it been 3 years? All right, so we're funding a war. We are fighting a war with Russia by proxy through Ukraine. And, you know, other things going on there. There's a whole lot of money laundering and that's a whole nother topic though. And of course, this disaster that stretches from the Gulf of Florida, you know, the Gulf Coast of Florida all the way up into Kentucky and maybe further, but at least Kentucky. So through Florida, Georgia, Tennessee, North Carolina, into Kentucky, just absolute devastation and destruction, which, you may or may not recognize it right off the bat, but that is going to put a stress on all of the first responders around the country, because so many people are going to be sending assets, to that region to help find survivors, help recover the dead, rebuild infrastructure, which is going to take years. So many people will never recover from that. Even if they survive the storm, they will never, ever recover from that. Right? So we're heading into, I don't know what's coming next, but it feels like we're being weakened as a nation, as you know, as a people in a nation, we are absolutely divided beyond repair by any civil means, in my opinion. But weakened also by the possibility of, you know, having to get involved in this war, weakened by the influx of illegal immigrants coming across the border, and not just walking across the border with Mexico, but, you know, actively being flown in here from other countries by request. I heard just yesterday another report, a credible report from a guy in Arkansas. You may know his channel. He has credible information indicating that there are active terror cells in and around his region, right, in the Ozarks. If they're there, they're here. They're wherever you are, right? They're here. They're here. They're gonna be here. And we're coming up on this anniversary of October 7th very quickly. Just, 6 more days? Today's October 1st. So, we all know how terrorist organizations love their anniversaries. We have first responders who are being stretched out, you know, in response to this storm. We have the possibility of a collapse of our supply chain. You know, that, don't think it can't happen. It happened during, you know, the pandemic. It can happen again, be man-made or naturally occurring. And then we've got the, you know, of course, the great possibility of being involved in another extended conflict with boots on the ground in the Middle East. Where do we go from here? Where do we go from here? Are you a prepper? Are you somebody who thinks that they're prepared for what's about to happen, what's coming? I bet you money there were a lot of people who considered themselves preppers living in and around Asheville, North Carolina, Waynesville, North Carolina, Lake Lure, Chimney Rock, all the way over to, not as badly affected, but all the way over to Gatlinburg, Tennessee, all the way up through Georgia. The Alabama-Georgia state line, I guess, has gotten at least places. It's not nearly as bad, but places. There's a lot of preppers out there whose preparations are now sitting at the bottom of a mudslide, mud flow, or in the bottom of a lake somewhere. What's coming, I'm not trying to scare people. My point to this is that all of this highlights something that I have felt for a long time, but have been unsuccessful in achieving, and that is building a community of like-minded people. Now, I live in a place where there's probably, there would have to be some people around here who believe the way I believe, but it's mostly old farmers, you know, guys in their 70s and up who probably looking to retire soon, and, you know, once that happens, all their land gets sold out from under them, or you know, their kids take it and sell it off to some developer or whatever. But anyway, I'm starting to ramble. But being a prepper, being somebody with this mindset, the importance of a community is undeniable. And I'm not talking about an online community. I'm talking about a stone's throw community, because you might be, you know, in some kind of community who, you know, you think you've got people got your back and this, that, and the other. But what happens when transportation is impossible, where movement through an area is no longer possible? All those people up in the mountains of North Carolina, trapped in the middle of the wilderness, essentially, with no way in, and nobody can get to them except through helicopter. No way out, no way in, except by helicopters. You know, how good is your community member going to be if he's 50 miles away, 30 miles away, 10 miles away? You know, go walk 10 miles through the mountains of North Carolina and tell me how you feel. Things are coming. You know, things are coming, and I wouldn't be surprised to know or to find out that in just the next couple of days to see active terrorist targets being hit. You know, I can't say what they will be. You can draw your own conclusions as to what they could be, you know, but they're most likely going to be soft targets where a lot of people are, with lots of people in attendance. You might want to avoid those places if you have the opportunity to do that. If you know people within walking distance of where you exist, you should probably start getting to know them. And it may be too late for that. I pray that it is not too late for that. You can have all the beans and bullets that you want, but if you can't resupply yourself, all that stuff runs dry eventually. You know, you go bingo on bullets a lot faster than you would expect. I don't even know. I'm not really sure where to go with this, because it's just the possibilities of what could happen. We could what if it for forever and ever, you know. But I got a feeling something's coming in the next week. By the end of the week, or the first of next week, you know, that celebration, that anniversary of October 7th. And then, of course, we've got the election, this political disaster that we're living through right now. It's insanity what this nation has become. The division is like nothing I've ever seen. 52 years, I've never seen anything like this. I could go off on rants about all this stuff, but I'd just be wasting your time and mine. Find like-minded folks if you can. If you can't, I pray that you're somewhere where you're safe. I pray that you have the means to protect yourself and your family, provide for your family, feed them, keep them warm, keep them safe, you know. There's a lot of changes coming to this world. this country will never be the same after this election cycle. I'm sorry, but this country will not be the same country that we grew up in. That's a whole nother video, though. I don't want to get into that here. Just be alert. Be on the lookout. Keep your head on a swivel. If you have to be in public somewhere, if you have the means to, I'd be packing. And I'm not talking about just a pistol. You're gonna need something. You're gonna need something more than just a pistol. And I'm not talking about walking around open carrying with a rifle slung across your chest. I'm saying you need to be able to get to that in the event of something going down. Because if they decide that October 7th is the day that they want to hit, and they hit in multiple areas, it's not going to be, onesies and twosies. It's going to be entire sleeper cells waking up and doing their thing. A pistol with a 15-round magazine isn't going to get you very far. But again, I'm not trying to scare people. I don't want to be a fear monger. I don't know what's going to happen. I can't promise anything. But I can tell you that all the parts are there, right? All the parts are coming together. And when you have all the ingredients to make a cake, and you mix them all together and you put them in the oven, guess what you're going to get? You're going to get a cake. So stand by for that. Just be safe, folks. Be safe, be ready. Stay home if you can over the next week or so. See how things play out. See what happens. Anyway, this is a little deeper than I expected to get on my first video, but I felt like I had to say something. Anyway, see you on the next one.